top right-hand corner. The Platinum player, I should remind you that the Protoss was gold, but, you know, it's going to be a best of 3, so have a lot of time for the gold player to prove his mettle. Anyway, it is the blue Terran player representing what mate? Time to tell. That doesn't really roll off the tongue, time to tell. And from time to tell, we do have a command center first here on the low ground. Going right for it, right into the macro, and he's starting up his barracks in his main. So time to tell is probably going to be looking into his macro, probably feeling pretty comfortable against the gold player, as you should. And back home, we have a second gas getting added on for Acadien. And I don't know if anyone knows about the All Inspiration moniker, but those guys in that clan come up with some pretty interesting builds. Absolutely funky builds. One of the funniest players I've ever seen. I think his name was Canary. I'm pretty sure Canary was All Inspiration. He's done a couple of great games when I casted last season or 2 seasons ago, what have you. Anyway, All Inspiration is notorious for their crazy, wacky builds, and hopefully we see some more of the same out of Acadien. Just pumping out a Stalker right now with his probes, as we see Time to Tell's Terran Scout making his way across the map. In SCV, of course, Overgrowth is a 2-player map, so nothing crazy in terms of you know, how big it is. It's not going to be a super huge macro-oriented map, but Time to Tell couldn't be fooled because he's going to go ahead and get 2 orbital commands as soon as he can. As this SCV gets a scout, he sees the cybernetic score. You know, he doesn't see anything crazy. What he would be looking here for, of course, is how many pylons there are. And I don't think he saw the 3rd pylon, but that's a tell that there probably isn't a proxy Stargate. Typically, Protoss players like to use the 3rd pylon as the proxy Stargate pylon. Currently just pumping out Marines. He's also got an engineering bay. Not a bad idea to get early detection up turrets if he's going to suspect any sort of DTs, but Acadien is getting up a Stargate. In fact, he's just not proxying it as he goes ahead and lays down his second, his natural down there in the low ground. We've got 3 barracks going down, as well as some crafty little Marines here rallied to the natural mineral line. 3 barracks going down. And, you know, just cooking, of course, Acadien's got an Oracle coming out of that Stargate. You wouldn't expect anything less. Turrets going down in the natural, or in the main mineral line, rather, as he's got his Marines rally to the natural. So this Oracle is probably not going to get much done if Time to Tell has decent control. And the first thing we see is, of course, that Twilight Council going down for Acadien. So, of course, he can do Blink out of this. I mean, charge lot builds are kind of out of the question due to the strength of the Widowmine these days. But, of course, the next one would be a DT Shrine going down somewhere. Nothing yet, but that Oracle is actually just staying home. And one of the reasons why that might be the case is he might be trying to hide it, get a couple of Oracles at a time, then see if he can do damage. Or if he suspects Widowmine drops, he, of course, has that mobile detection with the Oracle. Also getting a Forge going down as that Twilight Council finishes up, looking to probably go into his upgrades at the same time. Time to Tell back home is just macroing up, staying ahead of his supply blocks, not really facing anything crazy. Either, you know, both players are kind of comfortable with staying home and getting their makeup, doing what they want to do, and I think Acadien's now going to move out with these 2 Oracles here and try and get some worker kills. Nope, he's staying home. But the scan does get one of the Oracles, I think, in it, so he sees what's going on. He sees the timing of the Forge complete, and he sees the 2 extra gateways added on. I think he just missed the Twilight Council. I'm not positive on that. Let me see here. No, I think he sees the Twilight Council if he clicked on it. No, he doesn't. He doesn't see it. Never mind. That's on me. He does not see the Twilight Council, so no tell for him as of yet, but I mean, turrets, stim is on the way, as well as +1 attack, so I don't think Time to Tell is going to be in any sort of crazy position if DTs come in. And we actually see Charge as the first, you know, the Charge lot upgrade is coming out for our Protoss player, researching off his Twilight Council instead of Blink, which is the one that I would have assumed. He's got 3 Oracles sitting here. They're not really doing anything, and I don't know if I agree with that sort of playstyle, letting his Oracles be stagnant. Oracles are really quick. They're used for you know, getting out of the map and taking map control and doing that sort of, you know, risk, you know, taking away any sort of medevac drops that way, because if you have really quick Oracles in positions, you can see them coming. Of course, they shred mineral lines. We all know that, and they have detection for Widow Mines if you need to. The factory's gone down. No starport as of yet, and in fact, he's going to add a reactor, and then the starport goes down, the reactor onto his factory. Probably going to be looking to switch that starport onto the factory, start pumping out double medevacs at a time. Currently, what mate's probably in the better position. He was able to exploit the early 2CC4 Oracles now for Acadien. All Inspiration showing here that, you know, the Oracle is probably going to be the weight of his army here in a little bit. It is, but in the engagement, when it comes down, it's going to be the weight of his army. And honestly, those 4 oracles would probably absolutely shred that army right now without any sort of medevac support. Acadien is putting pylons across the map. One of them has been spotted, but that probe is still going to keep dancing around, placing them as he sees fit. As Time to Tell adds a 3rd at his 3rd location, he's going to go ahead and move out with a small force here as he sends Marine to go check the 3rd. Those 4 oracles, I don't know if they got spotted, but they might have to come back home because these Marines and Marauders are going to walk unimpeded into the mineral line and absolutely shred the mineral line. Not a single probe except for 4 is going to make it out. Now the oracles come back. There's 5 of them. They're not doing anything right now. Now their pulsar beams activate. They're going to go ahead and absolutely I can't even come up with a verb for that. Absolutely shred the fuck out of those guys. Here we come, the Zealots coming on top of these Marines, and no more Marines, what have you. But that entire mineral line is gone. Acadien kind of gives up his hand with that. He now, to Time to Tell, kind of knows that there are oracles about. So Widowmine production on the way, a Viking, 4 more Marines, no Marauders, medevac. So that's how you know Time to Tell is responding correctly, because he's not wasting minerals or gas on Marauders right now, which would not be the best thing to do against oracles, as they don't shoot up. Of course, at his 3rd, he is sending up 3 turrets as well. And Acadien's kind of cutting his Zealots with charge, mind you, so they're charge lots, and his oracles in a group here. I mean, this is a kind of interesting build here. I mean, if you get... he has High Templar as well. I didn't even notice that part, but he's morphing him into an Archon. So you've got your charge lots, right? They're in the meat of your army. They come in top of the bio while the Oracle tries to shred. It could work, and concussive shells do have a little bit of time, but that is a fairly quick upgrade. It doesn't take too long, so I don't know if we're going to be able to see them really get the use out of these charge lots here, as we have 5 oracles, 2 archons, and a bunch of charge lots coming in on top of this. He's going to get back, stem across the Widowmine. The Widowmine detonates, taking out 1 charge lot as he goes ahead and stutter steps up to this main ramp, and a lot of the Zealots are almost dead already. Now they're going to keep going back because those oracles are doing a fairly good job against this bio army. He's going to have to pull SCVs off his main mineral line. The 2 archons putting out so much area of effect damage in the back. All the oracles stay alive. Now all the SCVs are gone. 1 Viking stays alive, but the Archon shoots it down, and this build is absolutely glorious. Time to Tell is down to 52 supply, and Acadien... What? What did I just see? Absolutely shredded Time to Tell's army. Charge lots, Archons, and Oracles, boys. It's the new meta. You heard it here first from Team All Inspirations Acadien. The Oracle is going to get down. 1 turn's going to take out another Oracle, and this might put a stop to things. Back home, it's going to be really interesting to see if Acadien can mount up another offense. More charge lots seem to be getting in the action, coming in here on this new Bioforce. But now, finally, Time to Tell seems to be like he's going to be able to sweep things up. But is it too little too late? He has a 3rd. The 3rd is under fire from all these charge lots. And it is a planetary, so it's going to be able to survive. I think Time to Tell's got enough SEVs to make this thing work, but... it's really going to be coming down to the wire here, and Acadien should be expanding back home. He should be doing all these things, but I think he's got the game won. He might actually have the game won. God, those Archons do so much damage. Now the shields are gone, and of course the 10 health doesn't last very long against this bio, but, I mean, you're watching it happen right now, and that build was one of the most... I told you, All Inspiration's absolutely insane, and they, even down to their gold level players, they make sure that if you're going to be playing an All Inspiration, you have the craziness built into you, and that's certainly what we just saw happen there, is that almost ended the game. I don't think Acadien's really getting into things with his macro. Back home, he's producing more probes, and he's upgrading to level 2 weapons, but Charge Lots and Archons still making him. He's still going strong. This Widowmine's going to get caught out, and it's not going to be able to burrow, not be able to get a shot off. The Marauder's going to go down. Charge Lots are able to eat up these Marauders like they were nothing, even with medevac support. Now this second command center's on fire, and if he loses the second command center, it's going to be huge. I think he's going to need to throw some repair down it. He needs to stop worrying about the fight. He needs to worry about the command center. The command center's still burning here. These Zealots are making their way into the back, and they're going to town on the armory. Of course, without the armory, you can't get second-tier upgrades for Terran, so he's looking to really get that. And the pressure just keeps coming. More charge lots coming across. He's getting more forward pylons, trying to get these reinforcements right to the front line. Acadien now lower supply, and it seems like Time to Tell has been able to stabilize a bit. He's got a healthy dose of medevacs, which is so key. That's a big chunk of bio there, and it's going to be able to come across and really do work against this army now. It's kind of a base army. And as we know, the Terran basic units can make their way even into the late game. Basic units of Protoss can make their way into the late game if they're supported by heavy units. I guess you could call Archons heavy units, but only 2 of them against this much bio. Not happiness. in the eyes of a Protoss player. Time to tell up to 102, 106 climbing supply in the minute 16 of the game. He's happy to be at home. He keeps making Vikings because of those oracles, or rather he's got 2 of them out on the field right now. Now he's going to push down this ramp. I think he just spots the army of Acadien waiting on the doorstep, and he burrows his Widowmine. Probably going to try and bait that army up here, bait a Widowmine detonation. Meanwhile, Acadien is going to take the lower third in the middle of the plains of Overgrowth. I don't know if that's the best decision, but he's going to be starting to pump out Void Rays now. Void Rays is the choice for Acadien as he goes across the map of that probe, probably looking to see if he can get another forward pylon out. Another Stargate going down, so it's an air transition out of Acadien. It makes a lot of sense, but we're going to see if he lives long enough to make it there. He might be able to catch Time to Tell off guard with it, as Acadien's morphing another Archon as his +2 weapons just about finishes up as Time to Tell's +2 just now starts. There is a nice little concave here at the top of the ramp. The charge lots come up the ramp. Both Widowmines are able to get their hits off, and both get absolutely great detonations off on those charge lots. Now it's basically Archons, and, well, they're getting whittled down by this bio relatively quickly, and that is a fantastic pull from Acadien. No reason for, or Time to Tell rather, no reason for Acadien to attack up that ramp. He didn't really have the best envision, even though he had oracles. Going up that ramp, he should have seen that wasn't the best idea and come home, but it's that type of decision-making that makes the lower leagues fun, ladies and gentlemen. Not that gold isn't a lower middle league. It makes the middle leagues fun. He should have never attacked up that ramp, and as we saw, the concave from Time to Tell with the 2 Widowmine hits really paying dividends. And that's why charge lots, like I said in the early game, they don't really work these days. It's not really part of the meta for that reason, because Widowmines are able to do so much damage as he comes here stutter stepping with concussion shells and stim with medevacs, so effective against charge lots, halting any sort of offense, not even stutter stepping now. The Oracle is going, and it's going to use its detection now to find any Void Rays, or rather Widowmines. I'm stuttering over myself because it's GG. And that's the GG call from both players in the first game, going to what mates Time to Tell, the blue Terran players. So. All right, guys, welcome back. Game 2 of this round of 16 Group D action. It's match 1 of the evening for you. It's a TVP on Deadwing. So, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, currently up 1-0 against his Protoss opponent. It is representing What Mate Gaming, Time to Tell! And in the top left, his opponent, repping the Gold League up in Defender League. Came up with an awesome Charge Lot Archon build that I don't think I've seen since before the Widowmine got buffed, but interesting and awesome to watch nonetheless. It is representing Team All Inspiration, currently down 1-0 on Deadwing, the red Protoss player, Acadien. I think my intros were a little better on this one than the last one. I think. I'm just guessing. I'm not positive, but anyway, we've got a probe that's going to go ahead and start scouting down for All Inspiration's Acadien. We're going to see what comes out of it. It's an early scout. Time to Tell. He's going to go ahead and open Reaper this time, as opposed to going right into Command Center on the low ground on the natural. It's a bit funny because I think the second Command Center might work a little bit better on a bigger map such as Deadwing as opposed to Overgrowth, but he made it work last game. And of course, if it works, well, it works. You don't really have to do the hindsight is 2020 thing, but coming out with a Reaper on this one, he does have cliffs to jump up and get into the main as he scouts with an SEV, making sure that he's not a vertical spawn. At least it is going to be a cross spawn, as he should have seen that probe, and he didn't, so he's not going to bring the Reaper back. Probe is going to scout the natural getting thrown down, the natural timing for Time to Tell, and there is also a second Nexus coming down for Acadien as well. We come back and look at the main. We're going to go ahead and see a factory go down. No, a second barracks, rather. Second barracks going down for Time to Tell, so it's looking like he's going to go into more 3-racks play, which is pretty strong these days. You see it a lot. Yep, there's the second barracks. So we've got 3 barracks as the Reaper is now going to make its way up those little hop steps into the main mineral line of Acadien. Going to go ahead and get a scout, it seems, before he starts going to work on any probes. If he does manage to get a probe, it's going to be a victory in its own self, as he gets trapped there in the pylon cybernetics trap that Protoss likes to lay. He didn't really get anything good out of that. I don't think he's confirmed that there's a natural yet, so alarm bells might be ringing in his head that there might be a proxy, there might be hidden tech around. And Deadwing is a big map, so He needs to be aware and make sure that he's got all his bases covered. And he does just that as he gets his Reaper in there to the natural of Acadien, and he's going to see it. And that might be a little less freaky outy for him now. He knows what he's up against more so than DT Rush or something of that nature. All Inspirations Acadien is going to go ahead and pump out a Robotics Bay here. It's halfway from finishing up, and the Reaper is going to get an excellent scout. It's going to catch that probe out of nowhere. That was a lucky set of business as he was making his way across the map, and I guess the SCV on the Xel'Naga Tower must have seen that. This is looking pretty much more of the same out of Time to Tell. It's an early stim timing. He's producing 4 Marines at a time, and he's going to go ahead and rally them down into his natural as he produces an Engineering Bay, just in case DTs or Oracles, any of that nature. Turrets are always good to have against Protoss. And for that very reason, as you get 3 DTs walking into your main and you didn't know it and you weren't prepared for it and you're dead. But Acadien is going to go ahead and get a Robotics Bay rather quickly, so probably looking to get some 2-base Colossus play, which is really finicky. It can work really, really well, or it can't work really well, because it all basically relies on when the Terran player is going to get the scout off, as he controls both Xel'Naga Towers. He's probably not looking to get any more scouting done outside of scans to see his timing. So Robotics Bay is about to finish up. And what I was talking about is if you make a really strong 2-base push and the Terran is just pumping out, Marines and Bio and not really getting the medevac or Viking support that you absolutely need against Colossus play, that can be absolutely devastating, because when your stim finishes, you go ahead and hit it once or twice, and in the moment, all your Marines are dead. Now you've got 3 Marauders versus 2 Colossi and a couple Stalkers, and it's never good news. But he's hoping to hit this stim timing on the natural. That Observer looked like it was just about to get the trailing edge of those Marines. No Marauders coming out, just 4 Marines at a time. Of course, with stim, this Colossus is going to be out just in time, it seems, if he chronos the hell out of it to defend this natural. He is trying to pump out that Colossus as fast as he can, as these Marines are going to come in right when stim finishes up and see what type of damage he can get it on this mineral line. They're walking right into the natural mineral line, and just like in Game 1, he's going to go ahead and get a ton of damage on this mineral line as Photon Overcharge is called, and the Marines are going to go ahead and back out now. And see, this is kind of what I was talking about, right? You've lost, a couple of probes. He's trying to snipe the Mothership Core. Not going to happen. He didn't stim. He got a couple of probes for his effort, but now there's a Colossus out. A Colossus, with a little bit of weight behind it. He's got 2 Zealots, 2 Stalkers, and a Mothership Core back at home. And Time to Tell, I don't think saw the Colossus, but he's bringing his Marines back home, getting Marauders out, getting an Armory. It's a rather early Armory, but he's getting +1 attack on the way, so maybe he's trying to get that +2 as soon as he can. No third on the way yet. Instead, 2 Barracks, which I think 2 Barracks are way stronger. And that scan is a money scan. It's going to go ahead and see everything. It's going to see the extra gateways getting added on. It's going to see the Robotics Bay and the timing of what he's up against. He knows this is a 2-base Colossus play, so he's probably needs to start double pumping out Vikings rather quickly here. I would add another starport if I were him onto one of the reactor barracks and see what I can get done. He's going to go ahead and keep looking around for these proxy pylons. A lot of forward pylons came out of Acadien in that first game. Acadien's got a forward observer here at the natural that is getting pretty much all the information that he needs to know. And if I'm Acadien, I actually feel pretty comfortable here. I've got a slight supply lead. Extended thermal lens is about to finish up, so he's going to go ahead and have the range upgrade for his Colossus. Of course, that observer is going to go ahead and spot the medevac pickup, and he's going to spot the drop. We'll see if he responds accurately. Both players are actually having pretty good map awareness. If you look at the Xel'Naga Towers, and if you look at the blue all over the minimap, there's a lot of Marines around. I think, they're trying to spot maybe potential warp prisms, maybe, where he's adding on any sort of forward pylons. And then if you look at Acadien, he's got a really healthy observer right there, just doing, what observers do, which is remain invisible and scout. So Acadien's going to need to respond to this. Another observer's going to pick up these 2 medevacs full of units coming in, and it doesn't appear like he's got any sort of response to it. His main army is still staying at the natural. That's going to be a problem, because this is an absolutely full 2 full medevacs coming into the main mineral line here, and they're going to be able to get a lot of damage done with stim. He's going to go ahead and pull probes. He's going to go ahead and snipe 1 pylon as he makes his way in with his Bioforce. 1 stim is called, and he's going to go ahead and snipe the entire forge and pick up. Nope, now he's going to pick up and boost out of there. So he snipes the Forge. That was a decent pickup. He sees how much Colossus he's got to deal with, which is just the one. And still no Vikings on the way, which is a little bit troubling to me, as these two medevacs are going to get caught out here by two Stalkers and a cannon, and one of them is going to go down. Maybe the second one almost going down, but he picks up and boosts out of there. So I don't know if that was a good trade, trading a Forge for a medevac full of units. You know, time will tell, but I don't know if that's the best trade ever. Two Forges going down, and Storm researched on the way as Templar Archives, and of course High Templar are on the map for Acadien. What makes time to tell is going to go ahead and lift his third over into the lower section of the third. So one thing he's got going for him, of course, is economy and supply, and you'd expect that from the Platinum player. Two more medevacs on the way, as +2 attack is about halfway done. He's going to stick with the Widow Mines, and I think Widow Mines are a particularly strong unit, if not rather haphazard unit, and that's not a bad thing because you know, it can certainly swing engagements either way, as he does throw down a ghost. I forgot the fucking name. He's making ghosts. Okay, that's what he's gonna be making ghosts, and moving across the map here with two medevacs supporting this bio. It's got 4 Marauders and a couple of Widow Mines sprinkled in there, and you know, it's looking actually to be a pretty standard game. Storm is just now finished up, so those ghosts probably need to be in play sooner than later. He's got 3 High Templar that have just been chilling, saving up their energy for as long as they can, and once again, All Inspirations Observers doing the work of basically Jesus here. They're remaining invisible and getting him all the information he needs. Scan goes down. He sees that the third isn't at the low point, and he goes ahead and he's going to miss the army. That was a wasted scan. He could have just sent a Marine in if he wanted to. He's going to go ahead and check up this ramp into the third. Now the army's going to meet the Widow Mines burrow. The Storms are going to go ahead and zone out this army. The Widow Mines do go off on the Zealots, but they don't kill many of them, and now they're going to have to pick him, get out. And I think those are perfect defense for Acadien. He's going to be able to establish his third. He knows exactly what's going on. He's going to warp in more Zealots. He's got 2 Colossi. No more on the way. 1 more on the way, rather. As he's getting +1 armor and attack, as well as only using 1 Storm in that engagement. So he's able to save Storms, save his third, keep his Colossi alive, and keep his Zealots alive, which is pretty important. The medevacs are going to go ahead and pick up, and they're going into the main. They want to go ahead and skirt this army. The pylons are going to be able to see it, and all he's going to be doing is sniping pylons, which I don't know if that's going to be the best trade. You know, you might be able to supply block your opponent, but if he loses this whole force, and 1 medevac goes down right to the feedback, Colossus is able to sweep up the remaining units. He's going to try and bait them onto this Widow Mines, but he's got observers already. 1 Widow Mine does detonate, and the other one does, and he gets another kill too, and he's actually going to leave it. So we'll see as he's attacking the third at the same time. This is actually a brilliant play. My bad. I didn't see this going down. He's going to be able to snipe the third. This is huge. The Colossus are alive, but now there's 2 out of position. He can load up and get out if he wants to, or he can keep attacking. Going to go ahead and get out of there. He's going to lose more units unnecessarily. 1 Widow Mine burrowing. Eats a Storm for no reason. That Widow Mine is getting a lot of kills. 6 kills, the Corporal Widow Mine, and that was actually a brilliant play from Time to Tell. Fantastic divvying up his forces into the main to bait the army one way and attack the third. And now it's just a push from Acadien. He knows it. He knows he can't really fight the economy. He saw the 4th and the 3rd go down, I'm rather certain. So Acadien is going to go ahead and push here, try and make it happen. There's only 2 Vikings. He might be able to make it work. No Widow Mine support here. The Charge Off getting in on top of this bio, but a lot of bio it is. And the Colossus now getting here. He's not targeting the Colossus, and they're able to get a couple of good volleys off. There are medevacs full of units here cycling back into the natural, but these Colossus start going to work. The medevacs escape and live, but the Vikings go down. This is a sizable Protoss force, but I really don't think it's going to go anywhere after it makes its way into this ramp. I think Time to Tell's got a big enough army if he controls it correctly. That's a planetary, attacking a planetary with the Storms going down on SCVs. He's wasting the Storms on the SCVs. He doesn't have the Storms with the bio now, and the bio getting on top of the Colossi. Both the Colossi are gone, and that's it. That's game. You can't do anything beyond this. You lost your heavy-hitting units. You wasted your Storm on the SCVs to try and take out a planetary, and Acadien had a chance. I feel like he had a chance somewhere in this engagement, and he just a slight mishandling of the situation, and it snowballs. And that's the game of StarCraft. It is a cruel mistress sometimes. 3-3 for both armor and weapons on the way for Time to Tell. He's got his units that he wants. The army composition, of course, remains bio and supplemented with a bit of Vikings coming in here to the party. Of course, he doesn't really need the Vikings. The Colossus are all gone, and they're an extinct species. I don't think Acadien has enough to really keep producing them out, as we have another drop going down in the main. So many zealots getting warped in to deal with this one little drop, and that not actually doing anything. So now he's going to start going in on it. Oh, good storms going down, and we missed the storms in the engagement, but you know, a lot of Vikings in this population, and he's double producing Vikings. He doesn't need to, because there aren't any Colossus out. He should realize that there aren't Colossus going on, you know, with his scans. He sees the army composition. There's no Colossus in there. There's just High Templar, Archons, and Zealots. And this is the same type of army that he beat last game. He's got a really sizable Bioforce here, stimming right up the ramp. He doesn't care. Acadien is on the heels now. He's against the ropes. He's trying to get his charge lots in on top of the army, but of course, when you go as a Protoss with charge lots against concussive shells, you kind of have to make that decision. That's like, okay, now I'm invested. Because once they charge, they're going to get hit by those concussive shells, and then it's just done. No bueno. The Vikings have landed, and, well, the Eagle has landed as well. The Storm's going down on the left flank of that army. Another Storm. Beautiful Storms, but for what they're worth, the High Templar can't do much after they storm. I mean, they did as much damage as they could, but the Vikings, of course, soaking up a lot of that with the Marauders and the Medevac support means that there's a sizable chunk of TimetoTell's army here, sitting at the third. GG called by All Inspirations Acadien. It was a well-played game from him, no doubt. He almost made it happen, but what makes TimetoTell taking game 2 in pretty heavy-handed fashion?